Good morning, all. How's everybody doing? Typing in a code real fast because there is a coupon code for Copic markers over at Simon Says Stamp right now. I'm just going to make sure that my camera is where I want it to be. I think we're good. I got a little bit wonky there for a minute. I'm sorry that my live stream, I had one set up and then it got all messed up. I'm sorry about the camera. It's all acting goofy right now. Okay, here we go. So we are getting into a little bit of intro to coloring. Oh, it's my, no, it's fine. My camera looks like it's on an angle, but from the screen, it looks like it's cool. Anyway, sorry, my rambling. Intro to Copic or intro to alcohol marking. It doesn't have to be specifically with one color or one type of marker. It's what I specifically have. It's things that I've bought, things that I've been given, things like that. And so starting small with small little things is where we're going. And since it's coming up on Easter and I have these really cute Easter stamps, that's what we're making today. So what we're going to start off with doing is that I have already done a couple things. So first of all, I have already cut my grass. So that's going to be like this little piece. And what I did is I went into my paper pad here and I just have a spring fling. It's from Lawn Fawn. And I just like the dots because to me, it looks like it's grass. I'm going to make sure I'm not off camera as I'm doing this. And I just picked out the green because like I said, it looks like grass, but you could totally get away with also, if you don't want to do this next step, if you had a blue paper, you could get away with that being the sky. So you don't have to do what whoops, doesn't stick to everything, what I'm about to do next. And then all I did is I didn't have any special dye. And I know there's a whole bunch of dyes that do this. I literally took my scissors and I'm going to do a rough cut with you guys here with just one, just to show you what I did. I don't want to get out a new sheet of paper and ruin it. So, but I will show you. And these are the companion pieces. So if you can tell, I trimmed it down. You can get 2 out of 1. And I did come back and kind of do a little fix, but this one was too short. So I cut it too short. So we're going to show you how to do it on here. All I did is I went through and I just did a line. I just cut. And you don't want to do shortcuts. Notice I'm doing one as much as a long continuous cut as I possibly can. And that's how you can get that rolling thing. And so you just kind of go on an angle and make it a wave and it looks like it's rolling grass. So you don't need a special die to do that. If you want to get one, you're more than welcome to do so. So that's kind of where this came from. We are going to be adding that in a minute, but we are going to do one little tiny thing to kind of give it some dimension before we add it on. The first step we're going to do, though, is we are going to add in our sky. So I have just a little dauber, and I don't have the links up except for, you guys noticed I did put, good morning. Hi, Heidi. I did put a link up for the Copic markers and the coupon code because they are 25% off, I think through April 5th or something. Okay. One thing I did on this last card here is I didn't give enough white space up at the top. So I'm going to come in going a little bit darker at the bottom, using a couple of the different colors, a little darker, and then kind of fade to be a little lighter. And I'm doing circular motions with my dauber, kind of going between these 2 lighter colors to make the illusion like it's clouds in the sky. And got these little kind of puffy clouds, but I'm going to leave a little bit more white space than I did last time because I did really, really dark last time. I mean, all over. So now I've got some white space in there. It's as simple as that gets, right? I'm just going to come in. Oh, see, I keep grabbing my too short one. It's too short. So I'm just coming in and making sure that I'm not shortchanging myself and I'm good. I want it to be a little more just to make sure. Come down a little lower than you think. And then lastly, I'm just using my dauber to ink the edge just to kind of clean it up. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. Just kind of adding. If you want to go a little darker. On this one, I actually went to the darkest color and inked it up as a contrast. Your call. And so now this dauber, and I did have a video go up about how I stored my daubers. My daughter actually helped me with that. And it's this special drawer system. Actually, I have all my washi tape in there and I have all my daubers, and this one now, and they all click together, will be used for just these blue colors. And so I have some that are brand new, clean, never been used. And then I have some that already have colors in them. And I don't have a problem mixing them between, like, this is pigment ink or going into distress inks or something like that. To me, it's just the color is all I'm worried about. All right, and then this little guy goes on here, but I do want to do one thing first. Where am I? Yes. Okay, where'd it go? I'm losing my mind here. So I am going to use one of my testers, and I forget which color it was that I did it on. It was this one. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking one of my Copic markers, and it always looks a little different. And that's why you have to test it on a color, because the color looks different from here to on the green, it looks different. And then just to show you on the white, it looks different again. Always test your colors on whatever color you're going to color on. That's the word I'm looking for. All right. And then all I'm doing here is I'm just adding a line just like that, just to give it a little bit of a change of a color, just something different going on there. And then I can use this because this paper has a white core and I don't want to see that white core. So I'm using my marker since I have it out, just like that, just to kind of cover it up. And you could do like that fine border line, and you could even make this thicker. I might go thicker on this one. And it just gives a little bit of kind of a color gradation to that paper. Hi, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Joyce, for joining in and stopping in and saying hi. And this is just a very clean and simple card. This is what I would call kind of like your intro to coloring kind of a card. So just some fun little techniques that you can use. And I am completely mix and matching a few markers because I don't have every color, but I needed a few different colors to get some shading happening. So this is a very intro to shading. Okay, next step is you're going to stamp your bunnies. Now, I did get some more stamps out, and I decided I did not want to do the little basket. So it also comes with a little basket. I'm skipping that. I'm just using the Hoppy Easter, the bunny, the egg, and the carrot. And when you stamp, because we're going to be using alcohol inks, you want to make sure that you're using an ink that is good for alcohol markers, meaning it will not bleed. So I had tried a few of my inks, and one of them, as soon as I put my marker on it, you could see the black was smearing all over the place. So not the ink for me. I do not need to do any kind of special positioner because all I need to do is basically transfer the image, and I'm good to go. And if you notice, I went ahead and did a whole bunch of little extra eggs. So when it was all said and done, I need 2 bunnies, and I didn't like the look of that ear, which is why I wanted to redo that. I need 4 eggs and 3 carrots, and that gives me an odd number. So if you notice, I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I went to 10, I think it would look a little bit funny. So we're sticking with 9. So I think I have enough eggs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eggs. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have definitely 4 carrots in case I screw it up, and I have 2 bunnies. So yay. Now it's time to get into the coloring. And this actually gets really fun. So the eggs, that's kind of like your easy starter. There really is no way to screw that up. And all I'm doing, and if you notice on both sides of markers, you got a fine tip and you got a broad tip. I just showed you how to use the broad tip. That's how I use it. The fine tip is where you can come in and you can do little detail work. And that's what I'm going to be doing from here on out, is using little detail work. So all I'm doing is I'm coming in. Let me see if I can get a little closer with my camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Tell me if that looks a little blurry. But I think we're good. So I'm just coming in and I'm just coloring right there. I want to do all my eggs a little bit different. So if I did that one in the pink, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do another egg. I'm going to do the outline in the purple, just changing it up a bit. So that way, you know, when you go hunt for eggs, they're all going to be different. Let's do another one. I need 4 eggs. So let's do this one in green. And then I can mix and match. So now I've got the base in green. Why don't I come back to the pink one and I'll do little green dots. Just like that. So cute. Changing it up a little bit. So I also can do a yellow. So here is a yellow. So let's do an egg in yellow. I like the look of having them all a little different. And then let's make this one have yellow dots. There we go. And then we've got this mint green. Let's give this one. That yellow didn't pop very well on that other egg, and that's okay. The green dots will pop more. I'm using very, very, very light colors, if you're noticing. And so that was purple. Let's pull a darker green because we are going to be using a little bit of dark. Ooh, that's really dark. Ooh. Not a fan of the super dark color on that one. All right, we'll go back to like the minty green. We'll have one rogue. I definitely am going for a more pastel look. And so we have one, you know what, I'm going to color I don't like that egg now. That egg is bugging me. So it's really easy to come in and stamp another egg. So I'm going to do that because that one little dot in there depends on how persnickety you are. But, you know, for me to stamp and color in one more is not going to be a big deal. That's why I have extra paper. Easy peasy. All right, so I had done a purple here. There we go. It's funny, I'm not as persnickety because that stamp was better than this stamp, but I'm more persnickety about the fact that the color looks funny. Go figure. I guess it depends on what you're picky about. And to me, having that one dot look different than all the others is just a little more picky to me. Oh, am I off camera again? I am. There we go. Oh, you're most welcome letting you know about your giveaway. You should have been contacted. So Joyce is saying that she won a giveaway. Yes, she got a giveaway. We had a live event, which reminds me, there is a live event this Saturday. My son is going to be back helping me moderate, which is so cute because it was actually kind of fun having him there. I didn't have to turn my head and read the stuff. I'm doing good. Thank you. And so this Saturday is a huge amount of people coming together and doing a live event. I'm just gathering my colors and I'm going to swatch real fast. I had these all organized and sitting out and then I got them all messed up. So I'm just swatching real fast. Right now we are going to be doing the carrots. The carrots are pretty simple. Okay, I didn't want to use that one. That one's too light. So I am working with these two colors for my carrots. I've got Y30 and Y17. I probably would go with a darker color. I'd probably go with more like Y20, Y22, but I don't have it. So you work with what you got, right? So the live event is this Saturday. I am live at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And there is a buku amount of giveaways. It is a 24-hour live stream. I'm just going to try and color and do my best to talk at the same time. It's a 24-hour live stream where every hour a new person is going to be coming on and streaming live. So there we go. So what I found with the carrots is I do a little bit of a couple of different shadings, and then I come in with my clear marker here. So if you notice, I went in, and then I'm just going to kind of blend the two. And that's how I did my carrots. So it's kind of the intro to blending. Another way that you can do something small like this is you come in and you do like the outsides. You just kind of rim the outside of the object, leaving a little bit of the space in the center, and then you color that center in. That's another way of doing it, just like that. So it's a little bit blurry on my screen, but you get the idea. So you can start with dark and then come in with light, which is the tactic we're going to take with the bunny rabbits. So I only need 3 carrots. Here's my last carrot. I'm just going to come in, and I sometimes leave a little bit extra. I'm not super perfect about it. And then I use the color to kind of blend in. Instead of pulling out the white one, I use, because they will blend together, and that's how you can get some different coloration with the carrots. And then I'm just using a darker color top. I tried using a lighter color top and just looked funny. So this other brand of marker I am using is called Style File. And if you notice, it's very similar. I've not tried to do refills on any of these yet. All the Copics I'm using are actually brand new to me. I went and saw them, the Two Corporation, which is the owner of Copic, at a conference, and she gave me this amazing little pack because I was doing a video with her, and this is a special edition color set from them for their 30 years. And so I'm using a lot of the colors out of there. It's very sweet of her. But unfortunately, I don't have a ton of all the colors that we need, so I had to kind of blend a few different colors from different packs. So it is what it is. All right, so here I have this is a heather gray kind of a color. I think that's what this says, or maybe this is a heather. This is another kind of Copic marker. This is called a Copic Chow, and it's just a smaller marker. If you look at the size of the marker, you can tell that there's not as much ink inside, but the colors are the same. So if you're just wanting to kind of get started and you just might have to do the refills, I'm just testing my colors real fast on here. And see, I'm trying to look back at my bunny rabbits. I don't think I did go this dark for a little bit. All right, so the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with this one. And I'm going to start coloring. No, this is as dark as I went. I didn't use that other dark one. So I'm going to start coloring. I'm going to go around the ears. Am I on camera? Yes, I am. Go around the ears, just like this. I'm not going to worry about trying to do any kind of coloring on the ears or shading. kind of blend this on top, come in. And I'm thinking the light is coming in this way. So I'm making the left side of the bunny rabbit darker. And you could have it completely flip the other way. I just like the idea of the left side being a little darker. So I'm shading the left of my bunny, adding a tiny bit of shading over here, not much, just a little bit on the outside. Add some to the feet, add some to the tail. Now I come in with a lighter color. I'm not using that dark one. And leave the ears plain. And now I come in with a lighter color. And it's going to look really funny at first, but just wait, we're not done. And then just color in the rest of the bunny, going over the color that we did. So here we go. And this is like basic intro to coloring and how to get it to look like I did on there. So I'm going from this to this. Just wait. It's like magic. Magic comes from the blender. Make sure I'm on camera still. There we go. So it's the blending tool. And so here's where you go. Start from the center. And it's almost like it's whiting it out. And I'm kind of blending it in. Blend in. And go all the way to the edge. Just kind of come in and blend. And notice how it's starting to kind of blend the colors. Come in with the tummy. It's kind of whiting it out now. I'm just going up and down in little things and kind of going to the edge and blending it in. One thing I did notice is I tried to come back and blend about an hour later with my bunnies. It did not work. You have to kind of do it right away. So while you're coloring it, you can't step away. Not from this. It tends to react a little differently. And there it is. That's my little bunny. So it looks really weird at first. And then, oh, Joyce is just checking her email. Awesome. Yes, I sent her the information. She should be sending it to you soon. So she got it. She confirmed she got all the information. She just might be a little bit late in getting the information back to you. Anyway, okay, so that is the beginning of our bunnies. Isn't that fun? So it really works well if you've got the blender marker like this. And I did not have two colors that were super close together, but it looks pretty cute. And if I wanted to go a little bit lighter in the tummy, then I could keep on going. But it looks like a little velveteen rabbit now is kind of where I was going with it. And then I'm taking a pink marker, and this one is RV30, and I'm just coming into the ears and marking in the ears, a nice light pink. Just marking in the ears just like that. And then a little dot right there to give some pink on the cheeks. Isn't that adorable? All right, let's do one more bunny. And yeah, I went off the lines a little bit. The thing about the blending marker, when you start adding more, it saturates the paper. And yes, it will completely go through the paper. Look at that. But it will dry. I mean, it's alcohol. It dries pretty fast. So you should be good to go. So same technique again. I'm going to come in with the darker color, which is this one, and mark in. I did initially start doing the tops of the ears in the lighter color, but I did not like the look of it. And both times I did the other bunny rabbit on this card, I went back over it with the darker color because I just like the look of the darkerness. Darkerness, that's the word, darkerness. So shading in my bunny, adding in the color to the tail, a little to the foot, tiny bit over here, a little under the chin. Then coming in with the lighter color. And this time I'm actually going to leave a little bit in the center already white because it'll blend out. So I don't even have to be super, super duper careful. I can come in and make it look like that to begin with. And then the blending marker is going to do the rest of the job for me. You can almost see the color pushing to the side. You can see like there's a line, and that I think is just cool. And that's why these markers are blendable. So do you guys get into coloring? Is that something that you do? I know I'm going to have to get a refill on my blending marker now that I've started playing with this concept. I'm liking it. So if you do coloring, like if you do like alcohol coloring, what are some of the fun things that you like to do with it? Do you do any kind of blending, or do you just kind of do straight coloring? Because like straight coloring is what we did with the eggs. There was no blending involved there. Now, if you find, this is where you can still come back. You can come back and you can add a little more. Like if it's just a little too light, And you can kind of start seeing the color pulling off to the side, and then just kind of come in and blend it again, just to give it some more definition. So that's how I do mine. And as it dries, it starts to kind of look cool. And when you're first doing it, and this is the way, at least it is with me, as you're first doing any kind of coloring, you're like, oh, that doesn't look so good. And then you kind of step back and you come back to it. You're like, oh, because you start seeing all your mistakes. And like I said, I know I've done some little oopsies on the side there and I went a little too far. So I'm going to show you one more trick to kind of cover that up, because you're going to be cutting it out. And I did it on this bunny as well. I did blend in. But what I did is I took this marker here, the blending marker, and I went all the way around. I just went ahead and went all the way around on the entire bunny, just to kind of see if it would draw any of the color further away or push it back in a little bit. And it kind of hides those little oopsies. See, look, it faded. And if the whole thing, and this is why I do the entire bunny, if the whole thing has been colored all the way around, because you're not seeing a ton of the white when you die cut it, the white will all look the same. So I can do the same thing over here. And I can just do a little tiny blend. I'm not going to bother going all the way around that bunny, but it just kind of hides the oops real fast. It's a kind of a fast little trick that you can do. Okay, so make sure I have enough eggs. 1, 2, not counting that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna move my camera back up. So there they go, cute little bunnies. I'm pretty proud of my bunnies. I don't know. Partly because, like I say, I'm new to coloring too. And the fact that I could make it look kind of halfway decent, I was pretty impressed that that little marker did so amazing. It was pretty fantastic. And I went from it making it look like this to, oh, that looks pretty good. So my little trick to you. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to start die cutting out. I did pull out my purple tape. This stuff is awesome. And everybody's kind of in why I'm liking it a bit better than the washi tape. Washi tape sometimes can get a tiny bit sticky. Now I got to make sure I line this guy up. Otherwise it's going to, all that hard work I did, getting everything looking good. So here we go. So the purple tape really does come off really, really, really easily and clean. I got to make sure I'm getting the right die cuts here. And it doesn't pull on the coloring. It doesn't tear the paper. It doesn't do any of that stuff that could possibly damage all that coloring work you did. And I always color before I die cut, because then I have a bigger sheet of paper to kind of play with, and I'm not worried about being fiddly. And I know I'm going to have a lot of little pieces I got to die cut here. So I'm sorry. I was planning on doing some of this stuff ahead of time with you, for you, and then time got the better of me. So I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do all this die cutting with you on screen versus speeding it up and then just running it through. And my God, I am so in love with this little Sidekick thing, this itty bitty die cut machine. It's fabulous. All right. So pulling off my bunny here, and there it is. So cute. So I just got to pop these guys off. So how is your weather where you are at? Oh, good morning. Oh, well, thank you. I'm so glad you're liking this. We have started to get into spring. Weather is about 70 in the morning. And by the afternoon, no, sorry, it's like 50 in the morning. And by the afternoon, it is 70. So 75. Enough that you put on a sweatshirt in the morning, and then by the afternoon, you're wishing that you just had shorts and a t-shirt, because it is blazingly hot. Or it feels hot for now because we've been used to cooler weather. We are going to be getting very hot. I live in Texas. I live in Austin. And so it gets toasty. And you live in a pool in the summer. So just die cutting out these little guys, and then this sheet is done. So are you guys still in snowy weather? For those of you that are living snowvilles, snow places, or are you starting to see some spring? I have a massive garden, so I love spring because my garden starts to explode. And right now, the crops we are getting is I have let's see, onions I keep year round because we don't freeze very often. So we keep a very low amount of, I mean, I don't have to worry about things freezing too much or too often. And onions survive the freeze because we don't have snow that stays on the ground. If we snow, it snows for like an hour and it melts. So, and that doesn't even happen every winter, I mean. So yeah, I've got green onions there and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I've got my broccoli is going crazy. So I have to go out about every other day and I pick about a cup and a half full of broccoli, which is fabulous. I love it. And then let's see what else is going really good. My sugar snap peas are about to be going crazy. And then we have some fruit trees that are doing really well right now. The peaches are all blooming. There we go. And I think I only have one little guy that's left to get cut. Oh, see, look, it rips. The first time I've ever seen that purple tape do that. Interesting. I guess it can rip the paper after all. And then I have one more little egg that I got to do because I did an odd number of eggs versus carrots because to give me that different number. It's not ripping on the part that is die cut though. So I guess that's the part that matters. It just ripped another sheet of paper. Maybe it was compromised. Ooh, I didn't put that one on very well. If you guys can see, look at that. I die cut that. It's off. It's all wonky. So I get it for talking too much. It's okay. It's just, I can cover that up a little bit. I'm more worried about that my bunnies were centered. And take a look. You can barely tell now that I made those little boo-boos on the bunnies because it just kind of got blended in. So I'm not worried about the fact that it kind of went over. Nobody's ever really going to know, except for me because I'm the one who made it. So do you guys like these little kind of what I would call fussy cards? It takes time to color in all the pieces and do these cards. Do you like doing them every now and then? Or are you more into, okay, I want to be able to make a bunch of cards and keep it simple and simple stamping, that kind of thing. I kind of go both ways. I like all of it. Okay, first step is I'm going to take this and I am going to add my, whoo, you didn't see that. My adhesive runner, my Xyron tape runner, to the back of my card or of my mat. And just as a tip, people have asked me this kind of a few times, how do I center it? So what I do is I look at the corner here and I see, okay, does that look about right? And then I look down here, does that look about even? And then before I kind of push it down side to side, does that look even? And for this one, it does not. It's a little bit off. It shouldn't be. It should be dead on because I trimmed it. I always trim 1/4 of an inch down unless I'm looking for a different size mat. So if my paper size, this is a 5.5 by 4 1/4, this sheet's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. So it's 1/4 inch down and I just cut, and that's how I get it to match and how it looks good. Now make sure I grab the correct, yes, this is it. Yep. And then I'm going to pop everything into here, including this, because I want to get all the way into all those little corners. I don't want it popping up. So this is my Xyron sticker maker, which I got to grab the little edge. There we go. And I've got lots of little extra space. So I don't want to use up all that sticky, that just waste it. So I can pop in all my little carrots. And I love it because it turns them all into stickers and I don't have to worry about having any fussy glue. And it's a little bit movable for a while. There we go. Meaning that if I don't like the placement, I've picked up and moved these guys around quite a bit. So it's not permanent as soon as you stick it down. And it doesn't leave any kind of residue behind. Sometimes some of the other glues, and I do like wet glues. I mean, you guys know I use wet glue all the time. But for something like this, I love the idea that I can just kind of stick it down. All right, so here we go. And then just tear. And now they are all stickers. Yay. It's like the easiest thing in the world. Okay, now I just got to find the edge. I have the hardest time sometimes. You got to find that little piece of plastic that's hanging off the edge because you got to pull off that top plastic. And then that goes away. And the pieces, the remainder of this, once it's all said and done, can be recycled, which I love. All right, so before we add all of our little bunnies down, there we go. Now, one more tip before I get to this next part that we're going to do. When I first came in, I knew I wanted to have this as a background. I set this all down. This is how I made this. And then what I did is I went, okay, I knew I needed to have so many carrots and so many Easter eggs. So I cut them out and then I laid them down. And then here's my trick. I came in with my phone, got my camera setting out, took a picture. So you can actually see in a second, you can actually see that I took a picture of the raw. I took a whole bunch of pictures. Sorry, I got to span back to find the picture. There it is. So this is the one I took when I made this version. So I'm not going, okay, where did it go? And it was like, okay, well, how far down on the hill was it? How high up on the hill was it? Where did I place my eggs? Did I change it a tiny bit? Yeah, like I angled this one a little bit differently because I just kind of placed them to where I didn't think of the angles. I like this angle better than the two facing the same direction. But I didn't have to, once they were stickers, go and then place them all over. I had an image. I'm just going to be copying this one, so I don't need to look at my phone for the image anymore. But if you've got lots of things going on a card and you had it placed perfectly, but you didn't stick it down yet, my suggestion to you is take a picture. Okay, so before we stick those down, there's one final step. And grab a black marker, practice a little bit. If you notice, I have a mat behind me because I'm catching colors, I'm stamping over, I did the inking. And this is where you're going to be doing your little hash marks. Go very lightly. I'm using the same marker, the fine tip. If the fine tip is not as good for you, then you can go through and you can pull out a finer line black pen. If you just like, it's getting too, because you push down too hard, it makes it really thick. It just depends on how you like it. If you want a thinner stitch mark, this is just that faux stitching. A lot of the companies out there now have all of these little die cut pieces to cut all these fun shapes like rectangles. To me, I can cut a rectangle. I don't, but it has all this really pretty stitching on the edge. Stitching is in white. I mean, it's just kind of like embossing it. But it looks really pretty. I thought, well, how can I mimic that look without having that particular die that costs me, $15, $20? Because I don't want to spend that money on a rectangle, at least for now. I might change my tune as time goes along, but you get the idea. So I just decided I like the look in black. And plus, I also like the look on the hedge. So could you go in with a white marker and do this? Definitely. Could you go in with a green marker here and a blue marker up here? Yes. So there's lots of ways that you could change that up. I like the starkness of the black because there really isn't a heck of a lot going on, and it ties in the black in my stamp that I'm doing up there. There. Just a little bit of faux stitching going all the way around. And look, I completely missed the line. My stitching got wonky in the corner. Don't tell anybody. You didn't see that. All right, so now I got old stickers. Place my rabbits first, like they're resting on a hill. Oh, man. So bunny rabbits are so cute. But back to my gardening. They are a pain in the butt in my garden. Oh, my gosh. I used to think bunny rabbits were the most adorable things in the world. No. They are. They're cute and fluffy. And like this, they're all adorable looking. Oh, see, I got this one too close to the edge. Otherwise, my carrot's going to look all stuffy. So see what I mean? You can kind of movable. And it's just because I need to be able to fit my carrot in. The bunnies, oh my gosh. They will come in and annihilate my garden. And it drives me bonkers. Those little stinkers. And we are about to hit the season where we are going to mow. And we're going to find a bunny nest. And I did not realize until I moved to this house that bunnies literally just dig a hole in the ground. That is about, if you notice, I'm just kind of lifting up the paper and kind of tucking the carrot right back in there. Just making it look like carrots coming out of the ground, right? Bunny rabbits, truly, all they do is they dig a little hole in the ground. That's about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches in depth. That's it. And then they put their babies in there. They give birth to the babies in the little hole, and then they cover it up with fluff, extra grass, extra fur that they come off their bodies. And you mow right over that thing, and you end up, not all the bunnies survive. Let's put it that way, all the babies. So we have found quite a few bunny nests, and they squeak. Oh, they are loud little suckers. They squeal. I didn't know bunnies could squeal and scream. This little guy screams. So the kids, like at this time of year, we're about to get into that. I know it's probably way more information you need to know, but the kids will go through and they will like to find a little bunny nest, and then they'll hold them because they're not fast enough
the kids can catch them because they're so slow when they're young. We did a lot of research on whether or not it was okay to handle the bunnies. Like, would the mother reject them? And no, she completely comes back for them. She'll just dig a new hole because her nest, her den has been found. Bunny knowledge, right? But yeah, they will eat all kinds of stuff. So that's partly why I have a bajillion onions, is because the bunnies don't like the onions. So I have them lining my entire raised beds to prevent bunnies from eating. They still will eat though. Okay, I'm a little bit off, probably because I'm not lined up just perfectly. But yeah, my stitching went a little low, so I have to recenter my stamp here. So do any of you garden? So I'm just lining up my stamp, sticking it on here. If you guys don't mind me just going off on some rants here. I feel like I need to say something to fill up the time. Let me know if it's getting annoying, because I can stop. But it's part of like you're having a cup of coffee and enjoying a conversation with a friend. It's very one-sided on my end, but you get the idea. All right, I'm really being careful about making sure that these line up just right, because I don't want to screw that up. Moving my magnets up, and I tore my magnet tape, so I had to add new tape last time. And since I had the purple out, I added the purple. All right, that is looking good to me. Just come in, and I'm just doing the black. And this one, the reason why I could just use the same old stamp block I was using, I wanted this stamp to look nice and clean and not have any issues. And so if I needed to restamp it, that's why I pulled out my MISTI. I totally could do this by hand. And I think I'm going to do one more, just to make it nice, crisp, and clear. And there we go. Happy Easter. And that's it. That's not too bad, right? That's pretty fast. I need to pull these off. I totally left them on last night. Oops. Have you guys ever done that? You left a stamp on your stamp block, and then you pull the stamp block out to do the next stamping, and the old stamp is still on there, and you're like, oh, crap. I have done that. All right, I'm going to put these away later. I have it pulled off, and I'm going to put that with the stamp block, which has magically disappeared on my desk. It's somewhere. It's okay. But you get the idea. All right, I'm going to take off the yucky background paper so you guys can see the nicer looking cards. And there they are, two very, very similar cards. The only things that might have changed is that the color of the eggs, but everything else on here is identical. Look at that. Adorable. I don't know. I'm a sucker for the little adorable cards. They're just fun. And now that I'm doing a little bit better in my coloring, and I'm getting learning some tips and techniques, I feel like I'm a little more comfortable doing some of these cutesy things where I can color it in, because before I just kind of mass colored it, but I feel like I'm kind of getting there, which is good. So hopefully you guys can get there too. So supply links are going to be all down below for those of you who caught this after the fact. They are there. Don't forget, this Saturday, I have my live event where we're doing some mixed media stuff. And my son will be helping moderate again. And I go live at 3 p.m. And you can watch live and there's a chance to win. You can also watch after the fact and there's chances to win on all the channels across the board. So pretty much every channel, there's 24 of us because there's 24 hours. It starts at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be 5. Is that right? No, that would be, I always get that backwards. That would be 9 a.m. Yes, because we're later. We've all, and there's people from all over the world. That's the cool thing. So there's some people that are from, I think there's a couple of Australians. There is a few from the UK. There's some from the United States. I think we have some from others in Europe, because we're going a full 24 hours. There is live stuff happening throughout the entire day, which is very fun. So come by and check it out. I think there is over 50 prizes being passed out or something like that, and amazing inspiration from some wonderful artists. Tiffany Solario is the one who's fronting that up, and so you definitely have to come check that out. It's awesome. All right, so cutesy cards, love it. Hope you guys have an amazing Easter, and I will see you guys again soon. And I love that you guys are subscribing, but if you have not subscribed, I would really appreciate that, and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.